Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be sharing a very fun fashion DIY video with you. I had a little fun with a pre-owned Balenciaga bag that I purchased, and I thought I'd share the process. Recently I decided I wanted a Balenciaga Weekender bag. So that bag has been discontinued by Balenciaga, so you can't buy it new, like anywhere. So I was looking on the pre-loved market for a Balenciaga Weekender bag. I was looking for either a black or gray bag with silver hardware. I was mostly shopping on Fashion File, but I kept coming across like browns and just colors that I was not interested in purchasing. I still haven't found a black one. So while shopping on Fashion File, I came across a brown Balenciaga Weekender bag that was a pretty fair price. So I decided, let me purchase the bag and have a little fun with it and dye it black. It's up the Balenciaga Weekender bag in brown. So I'm going to show you guys the bag right now, and then I'm going to discuss how I transformed it into what it is now. So this is my renewed Balenciaga Weekender bag. Now the bag is huge. The Weekender is kind of like a travel bag, so it's very large. I can't hardly get it into the shot with me. But this is the final result, guys. So this is my Balenciaga renewed black Weekender bag. This bag was originally brown. So I want to first share with you guys the dyeing process and how I got this bag to the gorgeous shiny black finish that it is now. I'm going to insert some pictures now of the brown bag. So the Balenciaga bag started off and it was a brown, pretty worn brown Balenciaga bag. I was not a fan of the brown color, but the hardware was a silver giant hardware, which is what I was looking for on the bag. So I figured, okay, I saw the vision. I want to get the brown bag. I'm gonna dye it black. I'm gonna make it my own. These are the two main products that I use. This is kind of a full kit. So this comes with what is called a preparer, which is what you do to kind of start off the process. And then this comes with a self-shine black dye, and then it also comes with a little mini sponge. I think I have one of the sponges in here. It comes with this mini sponge, and it also comes with like a little paintbrush for you to get in there and make sure you're getting in the seams of the bag. So the first step that I used was to use the preparer from this package, and I used two boxes of each dye. So I started with the preparer, and as you see, I'm going to show you guys and take you through what I did. I used a regular size sponge, brand new sponge, and I kind of just saturated and scrubbed the bag with the preparer. So you want to just use the preparer as a way to prep the bag for the dyeing process. Prep the bag. I was ready to apply the first coat of paint. So I use this brand as the base coat. So basically I then started painting the bag with this dye as the base coat, and as it was going on, you could kind of see the brown peeking through, and it was leaving the bag with a metallic like finish. So as you were dyeing it, like through the process, wasn't very confident with it. Like, you just had to kind of trust the process that it was going to turn out well, but at first it was looking a little dull. So I just kept going, and I let the bag dry. One thing I wanted to mention, during drying time, it's really depending on how much you're saturating your bag, but also the dye dries pretty quickly, so you're able to move through these steps a lot quicker than I anticipated. So once I finished the first coat of dye, I would say within 20 minutes the bag felt dry, like to touch, for you to be able to then move on to the next step, which is applying a second coat of dye. So I used some more of this dye. Again, I used 2 full bottles of this for my entire bag. Keep in mind, my Weekender bag is very, very large. I'll put all the specs and stuff down below, but it's a very large, pretty much travel size bag. So just keep that in mind. So I started with the second coat. The second coat, you're able to see more if you have any blotchy spots or any places you feel like you need to work on a little more. So it was nice to do 2 full coats. After we finished applying this dye in 2 coats, we let the bag dry. So we hung the bag to dry, where obviously it wasn't touching anything, and we actually put some heavy books inside the bag to weight the bag. And the purpose of that, especially with Balenciaga leather, is the bag is a very smushy, soft leather. So you want the bag to stretch so you can see if there's any kind of crevices that you're missing, any seams that you need to get. So we put some heavy books in the bag and hung the bag to dry. We left it drying for a couple of hours just to make sure that this dye was completely set and dry. And once that was done, we moved on back to this dye. So again, in this package, it first came with the preparer, and that was a clear solution that we used to prep the bag. Now there was another little bottle in here of black dye, but it was a black shine. It's called the Self Shine Black Dye. So this was essentially another 3rd coat of dye, but this one is super shiny and it's almost like a sealant. I described it as shoe polish, like old school when you were like polishing your shoe, how it was very watery consistency, so it was very easy to work with, and it was easy to spread on the bag because of the watery consistency. But as soon as you were applying that first coat of that, it was a very much high shine, whereas before I felt like it still looked a little brownish. But that's how you get this shiny black finish. So this is the dye where it's really at. This is more like a base coat to kind of get the bag where you need it to be. But for the final results, the best touches, you really need to use this, is where like the best part of it. It just provided this shine, and as you guys can see on camera, it's this beautiful sheen to the leather, and it's a very just super black bag. Like there's no traces of brown. I was very happy with the results. So we put books back inside the bag and hung it up to dry overnight now. In the morning, the final coat had completely set and dried. We're just able to use the tiny brush that came in this set to touch up any little spots that we noticed, and mostly just touching it up for the sheen. So we had to really make sure the handles were nice, and we got the handles good. So that was one place we really had to touch up, was on the handles, like the little zipper pulls. That's something that we really needed to work on. The inside of the leather tabs here, even like inside the loops, we had to make sure even the inside leather of the bag, so the side here, the zipper here, made sure that was good. The mirror, to make sure the mirror was good, as well as the leather cord there that the mirror is attached to. All of the seams, guys, so even along the edges, the seams, you want to make sure you get that good. Inside the bag, there is another leather tab here, and then obviously the tab here. Touch-up phase was the most time consuming because you want to make sure you're not missing any of those spots, and you're kind of being more precise with the smaller tool. When I was painting the bag initially, I was using like little, almost like those paint sponges that you can get when you at like Home Depot or something. I ordered everything on Amazon, so I'll put all the information of the materials I use below. But I was using those little sponges to actually paint the bag. But then, like I said, when we're doing the touch-ups, we were using a little paint brush just to make sure we're getting all those fine details, and like I said, in all the little crevices and seams of the bag. So that was very time consuming, guys. And at that point though, it was exciting because I was able to see my vision coming to life. The bag was looking great. Then on to the final step, which was cleaning up the hardware. Guys, I'm going to show some the bag now, and you'll see the hardware is dyed as well. The hardware has black dye all over it, and so we have to then now clean up all of that hardware. So it's really easy to clean up. Just use some rubbing alcohol. So we put some rubbing alcohol in a little bowl and kind of used a small like a makeup brush to scrub off all the dye from the hardware. Giant hardware, guys, it's not smooth, the giant hardware, so you really have to make sure you're scrubbing it well. It was much easier to do the hardware like on the zippers and the zipper pull, but these we really had to scrub good to get them clean. But as you see, the hardware is restored to silver. With the drying time the first day, the whole process took about 5 hours from start to finish, and the drying time, I'm not counting the time I left it drying overnight because the idea was we were just done with it for the day. But the dye dries relatively quickly, so if you really wanted to, you can bang it out in just one day. So keep that in mind. And obviously I had some help. I wasn't doing this all by myself. This bag is very big, so had I done this bag all by myself, it would have been quite the job. I thought it was fun. I'm not that much of a DIY type of person, to be honest with you. I'm not that great with arts and crafts sorts of things. If I can do it, it just speaks to how easy the process is. The only thing is you have to be patient, and it does take some time, but it's not very hard at all. And as you see, the results are great. Let me show you the bottom of the bag as well. I feel like the bag looks even better now than it did. Well, I think obviously it looks better now than when I originally purchased it, because the brown, I just didn't like the brown, but the brown was also a little dull and almost faded. There also was like a scratch or a scrape on the leather in the front, and now that the bag is dyed black, that scrape or scuff, whatever it was, is gone. So it's a really nice way to not only refresh your bag with the color, but it gives the bag definitely new life, because this bag is from 2009, so 10 years old. I definitely think for a 10-year-old bag, I feel like I brought it back to life. And I am super excited to wear this bag now. Use it for travel, use it for overnights. I think this would be an awesome work bag as well. Bags, if you think about like day trips or road trips, or like I said, I think it's an awesome, even great carry-on. And because it's a pre-loved older bag, it's something that I can knock around. I'm really excited to report. I'm really excited that I took the leap and did this DIY, dyeing my Balenciaga bag. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments about the process, definitely let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the final results and how my bag turned out. Older Balenciaga bags, especially if it's a color that's been beat up, you can get them for so cheap on the pre-loved market. So it would be fun, let's say if you got like a white bag that was just trashed, but for an awesome price, and then dyed it black, brought it back to life. I think that's cool. So, guys, I am super happy with the results. I'm so excited that I was a little adventurous and decided to try this out. I will definitely be sharing more on the bag, of course, as I use it, but I wanted to share with you guys the process of how I turned my pre-loved Balenciaga bag from this to this. Guys, that's it for today's video. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, guys.